wrote a lot of your features, and I'm curious to know a little bit about the decision to also adapt other people's work, because I can sort of understand the author having command of her own novels and turning them into screenplays, but that relationship extended to Henry James and Ian Forster. Like, what was her approach to working with other authors' material?
Well, for instance, her approach was as a very, very good writer on her own, and her approach was care and dedication to what was there, but not just abject doing it. I remember, there were things that she sometimes didn't like that she thought could be improved. I remember she improved Ian Forster at one point. It needed some improvement, story-wise, and she did that, and she just jumped right in and did it.
Are you talking about the sequence in Morris, where
no, Ruth didn't write Morris.
No, she didn't write it, but she had
no, but later on, we had problems with Morris, and later on she came and solved those problems.
Well, tell us about the films that you made in India, because you had quite some success very early on, before you then started to make films in England and France, the US. Had you been meaning to continue making films in India, or was that just something that was generated by the success of the
films?
I
never just went to India and stayed there. I always came back fairly soon. I'd go for several months, and in one case, when we made The Householder, I was there over a year. But on the whole, I would go back and forth a lot. I didn't want to live my life in India, and I wanted to work in other places, and particularly the United States.
Presumably, though, with Ismail's connections to raise financing in India, was there sort of a goal to eventually move Merchant Ivory into international spaces?
I wouldn't call it a goal. It wasn't anything that, we just did. But the first film that we shot outside India was in fact an Indian film, which we made for, it's hard to believe, but we made it for TV in the United States. It was Autobiography of a Princess with Madhur Jaffrey and James Mason. And yeah.
So I think everyone who's seen your films is, of course, always particularly focused on the excellence of the acting, and you have an incredible cast of actors throughout your entire career. Can you tell us a little bit about your approach to casting? And was there lengthy audition process, or did you have sort of an understanding of someone's work that you thought?
In finding actors, it was really because we had good, they were found for us by casting directors who knew, at least in New York, but by this time we were in New York, and they had their eye on this and that person from both films and people that were on the stage. And so that, they said that that sort of helped to acquaint us with people we wouldn't have known about. It's all very well to know about stars, and they're there, you know all about them, and you want them or you don't. But there are a lot of people that we didn't, who became stars. A good example of that is Hugh Grant. And there were other people like that too.
Helena Bonham Carter.
And Helena Bonham Carter, yeah.
And then there are others, such as Vanessa Redgrave, who obviously had extraordinary career by the time you started working with her. Can you tell us a little bit about some of these actors that you sought out or wanted to find a project with, or if this was
Well, Vanessa was such a person.
Yeah.
I really admired her. I thought she was a wonderful actress, and wonderful in many ways, from being beautiful. So
But was it a question of finding something that was right for her, or did you think that she?
No, it would have to be that. I don't think she would have accepted that this hadn't been right.
Mhm.
And when we at first wanted to cast her in various films, and we pursued her, she wasn't interested. She was doing other things. I mean, she was very much involved in her political life, and which was frowned on in England a bit. And she began not getting as many parts as she had because the people who could give her parts didn't really like her politics. And we were after her for years, really. And when no one would hire her anymore, then she decided to take up Merchant Ivory.